What really transformed this country was the ability to move products across great distances. And the Erie Canal was a huge turning point.
It was the brainchild of one of the great governors of an American state, Governor DeWitt Clinton of New York.
The Erie Canal was considered to be, by some people, an impossible kind of thing. Jefferson was very, very skeptical of it, of the idea of doing something like this. And of course, it turned out to be an absolute wonder. And then people, as usual, say it was a great idea all along.
But it was really the Erie Canal that was the first major form of transportation to allow large quantities of goods to move these vast distances.
Well, if you think about it, the inspiration for that canal was the Hudson River. The Hudson River took you so far north into upper New York, the idea that you could then go up the Hudson and then using the canal go right across to what then was the far west, now is the Midwest, was a great inspiration and a great idea for populating the rest of America.
It was a huge commercial success for the state of New York.
Up until that time, the Appalachians really formed a barrier, cutting the east part of the country off from the rest. So we really were like an isolated set of colonies as opposed to a unified country, even economically as well as politically. When that Erie Canal was built, for the first time the heartland was opened up. Farmers could ship their goods, those things could move out, they could come down the Hudson, and they became part of the global economy. And it was almost like setting off a fuse to enormous economic growth.
Which ultimately in the next century became that whole theory of manifest destiny, that America should go west and go to the furthest possible point.
That really began to transform the country in linking together what had previously been very disparate little settlements that had to be largely self-sufficient. Once they're linked together, then people can specialize in what they're good at. What people have a hard time understanding today, when they look at something like the Erie Canal, here's this little ditch of water, it's only about 4 feet deep, but the ability to float a barge full of grain, even if it's just moving at half a mile an hour, was absolutely revolutionary.